Most mysteries on the internet are unintentional. They are glitches, lost files, or sad stories about people who vanished. But on January 4th, 2012, users on the image board 4chan found something that was the exact opposite of chaos. It was an image. The text was simple. "Hello. We are looking for highly intelligent individuals. To find them, we have devised a test." It looked like a prank. But when a user opened the image file not in a photo viewer, but in a text editor, they found a hidden string of code buried inside the JPEG itself. This was the first breadcrumb, and it led to the deepest rabbit hole in the history of the internet. The puzzle was named CICADA 3301, and solving that first clue, the hidden text inside the image file, didn't give anyone an answer. It just gave them a harder question. The code led to a specific image of a duck. To the average person, it was a dead end. Just a random picture. But the users realized something was wrong. Through steganography, they found that the image contained a hidden message referencing a book code. To read a book code, you need two things: the code itself and the specific book it references. The community frantically searched for the key. They found it in a collection of poems by William Agrippa. By cross-referencing lines and page numbers, they found a phone number. This was the first time the puzzle touched the real world. The number had a Texas area code. When people called it, a robotic voice answered. It didn't offer congratulations. It mocked them. Most people would have quit here. The puzzle required knowledge of steganography, cryptography, and obscure literature. But the highly intelligent individuals kept going. They formed groups. They collaborated in chat rooms. They were dissecting every pixel. And that is when CICADA 3301 did something that internet trolls usually don't do. They left the computer. Coordinates were found buried in the code. These weren't digital locations. They pointed to physical street corners in 14 different cities around the world. This terrified people. An internet prank is one guy in a basement. But this required synchronized agents on 5 continents. It required travel. It required money. When players physically went to these locations, scanning QR codes taped to telephone poles, they found the next clue. But they also found something else. CICADA was watching. As soon as a handful of people scanned the codes, the website linked to them shut down. A message appeared. "We want the best, not the followers." They were actively filtering out people who were just copying answers from Reddit. If you weren't fast enough, if you weren't smart enough to be first, you were gone. The few who survived the purge were directed to the dark web. They were given a unique PGP signature, a digital ID that could not be faked. This was the final test. The puzzles here became incredibly difficult, involving obscure number theory and philosophy. And then, after a month of frenzy, silence. CICADA 3301 posted one final message. They announced that the search was over. They had found their recruits. And then the organization vanished as quickly as it had appeared. So, what happened to the winners? Years later, a leaked email allegedly from a winner surfaced. It claimed that CICADA 3301 wasn't a government agency. It wasn't the CIA or the NSA. They claimed to be an international think tank dedicated to privacy, liberty, and cryptography. They weren't recruiting spies. They were recruiting coders to build software that governments couldn't crack. They wanted to create a digital sanctuary. To this day, we don't know who funded it. We don't know who ran it. All we know is that somewhere in the digital infrastructure we use every day, there are people who solved the hardest puzzle on the internet. And they are still out there. Some believe CICADA was a recruitment tool for the NSA. Others think it was a rogue group of hackers. But looking at the complexity, the money, and the ideology, who do you think was actually pulling the strings?